Hey peeps, it's Sophie with Disrupt Tutoring, and as always, it's such a pleasure to join you. Today we're dealing with the 2018 Grade 10 Physical Science paper, and this is question 10 on electrostatics. So the question says, two identical insulated spheres, X and Y, suspended by threads from a ceiling, are held at a small distance apart as shown in the diagram below. So we can see that X and Y are there. Then it says sphere X carries a charge of 4 times 10 to the minus 18 coulombs, while sphere Y has an excess of 30 electrons. So it has 30 electrons more than what it needs to be neutral. Okay, so the first question says, calculate the magnitude of the charge on sphere Y. Great, so the first formula that comes to mind here is the following. It says N is equal to Q over E. So we know that this is charge on an electron, which is minus 1.6 times 10 to the minus 19 coulombs. This is charge, so this is exactly what we're looking for. And the N is the number of particles. This is number. Great, so we know that the number of particles is 30. We don't know what the charge is. That's what we're looking for. And we know that the charge on a single electron is minus 1.6 times 10 to the minus 19. So that ends up being just N times E. And then that gives you a total charge of minus 4.8 times 10 to the minus 18 coulombs. That makes sense because they said it has an excess of 30 electrons, which is a negative charge because electrons are negatively charged, and this is a negative charge here, which confirms that just fine. Cool. So then 10.2 says the spheres are now released and they move towards each other. Give a reason why spheres X and Y move towards each other. So we know that unlike charges attract. So X is a positive charge, they've given us that, and Y has an excess of electrons, so it's a negative charge, so they attract each other. Great. Then it says the spheres are allowed to touch each other, and after touching, they move away from each other. So 10.3 says, state the principle of conservation of charge in words, and I've written that over here. So it is the total charge in a closed system remains constant. So negative and positive charges cancel out. They become like an average of each other when spheres are pulled apart. But also, an important note is those capitalized words there are words that you have to say to get the marks for these questions. So that's important. Then 10.4 says, calculate the charge on each sphere after they have separated. So because charge is conserved, the two charges will kind of add together. And then what separates after that are two spheres of equal charge. So it's basically an average of the two charges that you're working out. So let's start with 10.4. So like I said, an average. So let's write the net charge is equal to the charge of X plus the charge on Y over 2. And then that is, so I'm just going to write out the whole thing. So that is positive 4 times 10 to the minus 18 plus, and then we know the charge on Q, which is here, and that is minus 4.8 times 10 to the minus 18, and that is over 2. So then you get a net charge of minus 4 times 10 to the minus 19 coulombs. And that makes sense. They now repel each other because they have the same charge, and they are both negatively charged. And that also makes sense because the bigger of the two charges was this Y charge here, this negative Y charge here. So it makes sense that they come off negative. Okay, so that's all for this video, but before I go, I'd like to say a very special thank you to our epic sponsor for making this video possible. You can read all about them in the description below. Also be sure to visit our website for more of these epic tutorial videos, and if you can't find the answer to your question, you can send us the question and we'll respond with a personalized video just for you. So until next time, stay epic.